YouTube, and welcome back to another video, man. Hey, man, first day of March Madness. I've been watching all the games, well, like the main games. I watched the Duke and CN. I watched that comeback, bro. Duke, you almost lost. I watched my nigga Darius A. Cuff from Arkansas. They destroyed. Who they play? Damn, I who they played, but it don't even matter because they destroyed them. Look, man, we got some unfortunate news right here, man. Cade Cunningham diagnosed with a collapsed lung. He's expected to miss like 2 weeks. So he's gonna miss 2 weeks of this, but very unfortunate, man. The Pistons they've struggled a little bit these past few weeks. They've kind of dropped from the 1 seed to the 4th seed, and this isn't good going to the playoffs. Like you're losing games going to the playoffs, and you lose your superstar player. I ain't gonna lie, man. Jalen Duran gonna have to he's gonna have to carry the load, bro. Him, Tobias, and you know what I'm saying, them two gonna have to carry. Sarah Thompson gonna have to play his, you know what I'm saying, his defense, his 3 and D. Duncan Robinson gonna have to be shooting the motherfucker. They're gonna have to play some team basketball until Cade come back. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to stay in that top four. You know what I'm saying? Or get back to that that 1 seed, which is it don't look like it's gonna happen because the Celtics looking really good with Tatum back, bro. I had Detroit going to the finals, but now I'm looking at the Celtics and what they doing. Boston might go back, but let's get into the video, man.
For the Pistons, and there is some optimism internally within the Pistons that he's going to be able to come back for the playoffs, but still not sure about next steps. Cade Cunningham, the Pistons medical staff, they still have to continue to evaluate him, figure out next steps, treatment plans for him. And the one thing I did find out in the last few minutes, doctors do believe it's a mild case, so they're going to continue here to figure out how soon or how much time he could miss. CJ McCollum has had a collapsed lung on 2 different occasions. He missed 3 weeks once, 6 weeks another time. So it's going to be at least a period of weeks here. But this is someone that obviously has led the Pistons to the #1 seed, the 3.5-game lead they have on the Boston Celtics right now. He's one of the highest usage rating players in the NBA. So this guy that's emerged as a superstar player. Now the Pistons face potentially being without him for a significant period of time here.
Well, first of all, first things first, wishing him nothing but the best in a full and healthy recovery. That's the priority right now. Obviously, anytime you hear something like that, it scares the living hell out of you. Making sure you're right. You're thinking about a collapsed lung. You're of the mindset. What happened? What kind of collision took place? What kind of impact took place that actually, caused that to happen? And then you saw some of the highlights and you see how it could have easily happened. So, thank God it's not something more serious than that. But obviously, that's unfortunate. But Lord knows it could have been worse. So we're happy about that, and we're happy that he's projected to be back. Having said all of that, getting strictly to basketball, I definitely think this compromises the Pistons. They're not a team that's perceived as having a bona fide, a viable secondary scoring option. He is the offense. Everything goes through him. Other people are going to have to step up, no doubt about that. You don't expect them to fall off a cliff, but the Boston Celtics are ascending. The Boston Celtics are coming. The New York Knicks are still in the mix. And obviously, this is something that could potentially cost them the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Is it that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things? One could argue not so fast, because if he eventually comes back, they could still do some things, even though they play a second-round series and they'd probably be the road team instead of the home team. Who knows? But it's one of those situations where, let's be very, very clear, the Detroit Pistons and all of its championship aspirations, it goes nowhere without this man. This man isn't back, ready to play, healthy enough and ready to go. The Detroit Pistons chances of winning the championship go right out the window with him. We don't anticipate that'll happen. Thank the good Lord that he's going to be okay. And eventually, whether it's 3 to 6 weeks or sooner, he'll be back. But in the end, Detroit's success rides with this man. He is that superstar. He is that dude on their squad. And they need him if they're going to ascend to a championship level. Let's get that out the way right now.
Yeah, so as someone who's had a rib injury, it's extremely painful. You saw the play here. Trey Johnson accidentally knees him in the side. It's a freak injury. Typically with the collapsed lung, like, you can't even travel for a while. I remember About 15 years ago, Gerald Wallace with the Bobcats had a collapsed lung after a flagrant foul by Andrew Bynum in Los Angeles, and the way he got back to Charlotte was by bus. He took 3 days to travel across the country because you can't fly for a while. So that's one thing. The other thing you have to wonder is how serious was a rib injury here, because sometimes collapsed lungs are caused by rib damage, sometimes they're not. So there's the dynamics of that for sure. The Pistons do have a 4-game lead in the loss column on the Celtics. That's a decent cushion for 14 games left. They have had some success without him this year. I'm not as worried about them with the seeding. I would believe they could hold them off. But Stephen A., you're of course right. The truth is, this man is a MVP candidate. You are not going to survive long in a playoff series if not only he's not back, but is not back and playing at a high level. And we're just not going to know probably right now what his situation is. But this is why, you can't take anything for granted in March and April and May in the NBA. There's always these variables. And one piece of business, this seems trivial, but I should just point it out because it does affect people care about. Cade has played 60 games. He would need to get to 65 to reach any sort of award situations.
Yes.
Not sure that's going to happen. So that's
not going to happen
also as well.
Yeah.
So 44-17 with him this season, Shams. 5-2 without Cade Cunningham. Do we have any clarity on how and when this might have happened?
So, it could be as innocuous as that play that we saw where he dove and he was clearly hit. So, I'm not exactly sure when it happened. It could have easily happened here, like Stephen A. said. These are moments.
He left the game after this play. Yeah. I would, we don't know for sure, but that was very. Most likely that's the play. With
back spasms, and this is certainly something Brian said he had this. This is something that does impact a lot of the upper body. So certainly the back is a part of that. The Pistons are still doing tests on it, seeing what else is there. What they know right now, collapsed lung. Doctors believe it's a mild case, and that's what they're operating on. And so they're optimistic that he's going to be able to have treatment and a plan here in place for him to be back in the playoffs. But again, there is a lot of uncertainty still here moving forward. So wish him the best in his rehab.
Yeah, man, we're going to go to like a more of an updated version of what's going on with Cade. NBA Today kind of reported on it, but they kind of gave some updated details about it, so let's get into it.
Detroit Pistons all-star Cade Cunningham will miss time due to a collapsed lung. The Pistons have just 14 now. Shams, what more can you tell us about how long the Pistons could be without Cade?
George, Cade Cunningham is expected to miss an extended period of time. It's going to be at least a few weeks, and I'm told right now Cunningham, the Pistons, the medical group in Detroit are working through the next steps to continue to gather information on treatment plans, recovery, and eventually a rehab plan. And my understanding is there is optimism within the Pistons that Cunningham will be back for the playoffs. That's about a month away, but they're unsure exactly when he'll be able to, and his importance can't be understated. He has one of the highest usage ratings in the league. He means everything Detroit from a culture perspective, on-court perspective, but now he will be out for an extended period of time.
All right, Shams, thank you so much for the information. Cunningham has played 60 games this season that count towards the postseason award selection. If he's unable to play the remainder of the regular season, he would miss out on any of those honors. Cade is top 3 on the Pistons in every major statistical category. We welcome you inside our studio alongside NBA champion Kendrick Perkins and the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst. I'm George Sedano in for Malika Andrews. Tough blow, obviously, for the Pistons. So, Perk, how much will this shake up the East?
The 3 for me, only at Chili's, serves up the big QP for.
Yeah, man, but how do y'all feel about this stuff, man? Without Cade, do y'all think they can make the conference finals or the finals if Cade was to come back? I believe so. And do y'all think that he'll be as healthy, when the playoffs come around?
Need Cade Cunningham. The league needs him. Like us as fans, we want to see him in the big moment of the postseason. Let me get that out the way. Secondly, Cade, when he's available, the Detroit Pistons are a legit title contender. When he's not, they're a first-round exit. That's how valuable he is. That's how much him being out shakes up the rest of the league. So if you're Boston, you're New York, you're saying, well, damn, now the floodgates have really opened, because I know right now the Knicks probably looking at it like, You know, you ain't praying on nobody's downfall. You don't want nobody to be injured. But damn it, if you're trying to get to the championship, you trying to make it through it, you might have to see those guys. But if he's not available, again, it's not good for Detroit. They could be an early round out in the playoffs.
All right, so the words on the bottom of the screen there, that's the bad news. Let's talk about the good news. The good news is they got a 4-game lead in the Eastern Conference standings for the 1 seed. And I do think seeding is less important in the East this year than health, obviously, but the Pistons have worked very hard, and it would be terrific if they could get the 1 seed. So they have some cushion there on the 1 seed, and they've played okay without Cade this year. They're 5-2 without him, and there's some tankers left on that schedule. They should, there's some tough games, no doubt, but they should get some wins. You look at man, that's going to be that road trip at the.
So they got the Wizards tonight. They're gonna beat them. The Warriors, they're gonna beat them. So that's 2-0. So right now they're 2-0. Lakers, I ain't gonna lie, 2-1. 2-1. Hawks, 2-2. 2-2, y'all. Pelicans. The Pelicans have been playing good with DeJounte Murray back. But I think they can get a win against the Pelicans. The Timberwolves, Ant is out for a few weeks. They should be able to beat the Timberwolves. So, yeah, that's 4-2. OKC, they're not beating OKC. 4-3. The Raptors, they're not beating the Raptors either without Cade. 4-4. Timberwolves again, they should be able to beat them. 5-4. Sixers, they should beat the Sixers. 6-4. I think they will go 6-4 from now to April 4th. They're going to go 6-4. So every win and loss that I've said, that's going to happen. They're going to be 6-4. And when that happens, y'all come back to this video.
Thunder, that won't be fun. But okay, now I will say, they get to play the Wizards tonight. I would strongly advise winning that game, for example. Okay, but I will say this: we've seen injuries before. And Perk, I know you had a rib injury in your career. When the Pistons announced this injury, they did not announce a rib injury. Now maybe they're not giving it all, but if he avoided major rib injury, that could potentially be more positive for him to come back on the shorter time frame. So I'm sure he's feeling it today. I'm sure he is not feeling great about life. I don't think you can fly with a collapsed lung. He's probably taken a bus back to Detroit, or it'll probably be a very nice bus, but it probably will be a long day for him to get back. But I do think that there's reason to believe, if you're a Pistons fan, that this will not derail even your seeding, much less your playoff.
Well, and let's not forget, C.J. McCollum had something like this recently, and he missed 2 weeks, and then he was able to resume basketball activities.
No. And look, the way that science is now, the money that organizations spent for us doctors and the medical staff, I believe he is going to come back. But I do think it's a blessing in disguise for the Detroit Pistons, because now you can see or put to the test the perimeter play, because the big question has been, who is going to be that number 2 option on the perimeter that's going to elevate their game come postseason time? Is it going to be Jenkins? Is it going to be Hollins? Is it going to be Tobias Harris?
Right.
Now these guys are able to showcase.
Yeah, we'll see how it works itself out. And if the worst case scenario does happen, they will see who they need to potentially stick with or move on from in the offseason as well. All right, Vince, you're plugged in with the Pistons. What more can you tell us about Cade's injury and the recovery process?
Well, for one, George, the Pistons feel like they're very lucky that this was not a broken rib, but it appears that he will probably miss the rest of the regular season. They're looking at a timeline like this. The next 2 weeks, the collapsed rib will recover, and then after that, the hope is that he will begin basketball conditioning, non-contact. And then a week later, their hope is that he will have a week or more to begin contact basketball activity, with the playoffs beginning on April 18th. 4-week period. Maybe he'll have an extra 4 days, and that is the hope, is that he will be ready to play for game 1 of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Now, Vince, I would imagine we already have some semblance of understanding of what this question will mean, but what is the mood around the organization right now with Cade being out?
It's a blow. I have to think that's the biggest thing. In talking to Pistons personnel this morning and this afternoon, they understand how important he is to their ball club, how important he has been to their success. Once again, they are thankful that it is not something that is worse, but they know they cannot replace Cade Cunningham with a single player. They know that Asar Thompson, Danish Jenkins, who they found out of the G League on a two-way contract, who they converted a little while ago, they feel like players like that will have to stem the tide. They have 14 games remaining, 3.5 up on Boston, 5 up on the New York Knicks. Their hope is that they will slip no further than 2, especially if they can play around 500 ball for the rest of the season's 14 games.
I ain't hold up, bro. We gotta react to this, bro. Cade, man, get back slowly, healthy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Take your time and then get back. You know what I'm saying? Because your longevity is more important. You know what I'm saying? So just take your time and come back. Even though I want you to play in the playoffs, I want you to go to the finals and play OKC or whoever come out the West. I want to see that. Or go against Boston in the conference finals. I want to see that. But you gotta be healthy. You gotta take care of yourself. So get back, Kate. Unfortunately, man, everybody rooting for you. The whole NBA is rooting for you to come back. So yeah. So let's get bro back. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Next, man, the WNBA. The WNBA finally reached an agreement on the bargaining to continue play. Um, it's about time, bro. The women of the WNBA deserved it. So I'm glad that they were able to come to some type of agreement. It was real late, but it was needed. Conversation, hard talks had to be had. So let's get into the video, man.
Could you give me a second?
I think they'll be okay.
Give me a
Ooh,
second.
like
Give me a
this.
second. Give me a
Ooh,
second.
what we
This is what we got.
got?
Now you have to deliver. When you do that, you can't just come back and be like, my mom was texting me. Like he's on the phone. All right, I don't know. And Shams he's got some news. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go back to the
Just last year, app that starts and multi-year deal. They've been in this battle. Announced a landmark collective bargaining.
Young in his career still was really.
The WNBA announced a landmark collective bargaining agreement. They have reached agreement, multi-year deal. They've been in this battle for months now on a collective bargaining agreement. And I have the details of this collective bargaining agreement. These are landmark. It's a new salary cap that starts at $7 million. That's up from $1.5 million just last year. There will be an average revenue share among the owners, the league, and the players of nearly 20% across the lifetime of this deal. Supermax contracts starting at $1.4 million, escalating to $2 million and above. The average salary for WNBA players moving forward will be around $600,000. The minimum will be signed for above $300,000. Okay. This is according to my sources across the WNBA in the industry. And you think about where the league came from in 2003 when they had their first salary cap, thanks to our stats and info guys, of 600+ thousand. They didn't even get to over $1 million in the salary cap until 2020. Players are now, for the first time in league history, set to make salaries of $1 million and above. It's a landmark deal. Nneka Ogwumike with the WNBA PA, the president, and obviously WNBA Kathy Engelberg. Yeah. They've been negotiating here. It's been a marathon of several days now.
Monica, your response.
I'm glad they got something done because this thing was getting real tenuous. It had been for a while. The most encouraging thing I heard from what Shams just said was the rev share. We knew that the salaries, in terms of max salaries, were going to be what we didn't know. I was pretty confident, just based on where the league has come from, that you'd get to that point. But again, each one of these CBAs is designed to move the ball further down the field, so to speak. This is a big moment for this league, and not just for the WNBA, but for a number of other women's sports leagues.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the WNBA for getting this done. The fact that they will finally be able to be making over $1 million. Me and my bro kind of had back and forth about this earlier at work earlier today. I'm saying like the WNBA isn't as exciting. There's no superstars in the WNBA. You know what I mean? And like the revenue of the WNBA is decreasing because it's like it's not as exciting as the NBA. And he made some points. The NBA, you know, you know, like the NBA, like they can't keep trying to help the WNBA every time something goes wrong. So I feel that too, but at the same time, it is a brother and sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? It's a family. So, and the most important thing is that we have to support our women. You know what I'm saying? Because they work hard as well, and they deserve a certain pay. Um, I'm not gonna say they should be getting paid the same amount as the NBA because the NBA is such a global sport and like the 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 kind of attention and superstars that come around in the NBA, the WNBA right now just can't match what the NBA got going on as far as popularity. So, um, and then right now the WNBA is just starting to get better. You know, when Caitlin Clark came in, even before Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson was still her. Brown Stewart was still her. Sabrina Ionescu was still her. Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, you know what I'm saying? The Kelsey Plums, the Chelsea Grays, the Candace Parkers, the Lisa Leslies, you know what I'm saying? The Tina Thompson, Don Staley, you know what I'm saying? The Cheryl Swoops, you know what I'm saying? The Lauren Jacksons, you know. Uh, the Adela Dons, you know what I'm saying? I can keep going on, man. It's the Brittany Grinders, you know what I'm saying? Um, there are a lot of the Skylar Diggins Smiths, you know what I'm saying? Anina K and their school, you know what I'm saying? There are a lot of great WNBA players, legends that have come through, but the sport of WNBA just didn't get that attention back then. And now it's starting to get more attention, you know what I'm saying, which is great. Bro, I got 4 WNBA jerseys, okay? The Angel Reeses, the Caitlin Clarks, the Pages, you know what I'm saying? They're coming in with a whole different, you know what I'm saying? Juju about to come in here, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Juju about to come in the league next year, I think. You know what I'm saying? She about to get better. She gonna come back way better from the ACL injury. Shout out to Juju. You know what I'm saying? She gonna come back better. She gonna make a big splash in the WNBA. You got the Fajay Johnsons, the Lauren Betts from UCLA, the Hannah Hidalgos, um, TCU. My girl from TCU, Simone Bob. No, I'm tripping. Hold on. What's her name from TSU? From TCU, y'all. TCU women's. Hold on. I don't want to disrespect. Man. Man. I don't want to disrespect. Roster. Uh, Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles. She transferred from no Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? Olivia Miles, she's a walking triple double. She gonna make the league better, bro. All these young women coming into the league in the next 5 years gonna make a big splash. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, right now, you got Angel Reese. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of struggled. You know what I'm saying? This past season with just like her team not being that good, injuries and some stuff that she even said in post game interviews, kind of like it kind of hurt her a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Last year, you know what I'm saying? But she gonna come back better. You know what I'm saying? I know Angel Reese she's mean on the boards, but obviously her play needs to get better. You know what I'm saying? She has to evolve. But yeah, man, I think she's gonna get better. The WNBA is gonna get better, and they're gonna get paid even more money, more endorsements, more deals. It's gonna come in. You know what I'm saying? Asia Wilson, she's like the LeBron of WNBA right now. She got what 4 championships and 3 MVPs. She's cooking right now. You know what I'm saying? I think she got 3 championships. You know what I'm saying? She, but she's cooking right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, she got 4. She got 4 championships. I'm tripping. 4 championships, 3 MVPs, man. I think she got a couple of defensive player of the years. You know what I'm saying? Gold medals, bro. She's all that, bro. Bro, listen, I got an Asia Wilson jersey. I got a Caitlin Clark jersey. I got an Angel Reese jersey, and I got a Kelsey Plum jersey. Kelsey Plum is my favorite player. I like Caitlin Clark. I like her game, bro. Paige Beckers, another one that's a bucket. You know what I'm saying? But bro, like these girls are really good, bro, and they're gonna get better. But yeah, man. But listen, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, man. Shout out to the WNBA, well deserved. Shout out to all the women. You know what I'm saying? This is a big deal. You know what I'm saying, in sports. Whether like whether y'all like it or not, it's a big deal in sports right now. But anyway, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, man. Y'all like, comment, subscribe if y'all new, and I'm gone, bro.